Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest. We are still doing our shows. We came back last month, and we're only down to about one guest per day, which is big for us. Sometimes we'd have 2 or 3 in one day. So we're down for the safety, and we've taken all the precautions here in the studio because we care about our guests' health as well as our own. So no fears if you want to come up and be a guest. Today we have someone that we've had on many times, and we love her, Ursula Wong. And Ursula is from Chelmsford. She is an author, and she has written the 5th book in the Gypsy Amber series. Welcome. Welcome, Ursula.
Thank you. It's so good to be out of the house.
Yeah. Are you staying in the house a lot?
Well, writing life tends to, put me at home a lot, but, it just feels like it's so much more.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I get a kick out of just going to a bookstore at this point.
I know. Walk down the street. This is like a day out.
Grocery shopping, This is the 5th one, the Amber War series.
Right.
Russia hatches a brazen plan to thwart China's expansion into Central Asia, but a brilliant Lithuanian investigator stands in the way. When you were on before, did I ask you if you had, you do have relatives from Asia?
Lithuania. My husband's Asian. So ergo the Ursula Wong.
Right. What made you go to the Lithuania and the UK part?
Yeah, Lithuania is my ancestral heritage. So all of my grandparents are from Lithuania.
Yeah.
And they came over before World War I, all of them. I don't think they knew each other in Lithuania, but oddly enough, they settled in 2 villages in Hardwick, Massachusetts, Gilbertville and Wheelwright. 2 tiny little clusters in Massachusetts. So they settled in those 2 towns, and later they had kids, and the kids met, and here I am.
And you grew up in Chelmsford?
No, I didn't. I lived there. That's my married life. I grew up in rural Massachusetts. I grew up in Hardwick.
Yeah. Were you born? There's a hospital in Lowell that someone I know was born there. There's a Catholic hospital and a regular hospital?
St. John's.
St. John's, yeah.
John's,
You were born up there.
Interesting.
And it was never the same again. Ursula, I love to read about the backs and the front. Let me just give you a little. She's going to tell you all about it, though, except the ending. When the truth turns toxic, an explosion on the jetliner crash kills hundreds of Russian tourists in Central Asia. The Russian president, the most powerful woman in the world, uses it as an excuse to send in troops and proclaim herself anti-terrorism champion of Central Asia. And this is what Ursula does. She writes books that represent strong women, gripping stories about strong women who struggle against impossible odds to achieve their dreams. Go for it. Tell us about the book.
Well, Gypsy Amber. So my heritage is Lithuanian, and the Amber War series is largely about Lithuania. So the first 4 books, book number 1, Amber Wolf, is about the Soviet occupation of Lithuania and the resistance fighters. Book 2, Amber War, is about the post-war scenario in Lithuania and how the resistance faded. They were waiting for the West to come and save them. That entire story. And then I get into more current political issues with Russia. Right. And so Amber Widow is about nuclear waste that was stolen from the Ignalina power plant right before the breakup of the Soviet Union and hidden in the woods. And I postulated what might happen if somebody got hold of that nuclear waste. Black Amber is about the real pipeline that's going from Russia into Germany through as a subsea pipeline under the Baltic Sea. It's a huge political issue right now. It's still not done, and I can't wait to see if what I wrote in Black Amber actually comes true. I kind of hope it doesn't.
Well, Black Amber is...
Right, that's number 4, and then Gypsy is number 5.
This is Gypsy.
Did
you design the cover?
No,
okay, they did for you.
Yeah.
Good cover.
Yeah,
I love the colors of this thing.
Thank you. It's a Lithuanian flag, yellow, green, and red.
Yeah.
But Gypsy Amber, so my husband Steve and I traveled to Central Asia, And I was really struck by the difference in the perception of the Soviet occupation. I mean, Central Asia was part of the Soviet Union. Lithuania was part of the Soviet Union, Eastern Europe. And in Eastern Europe, it was a bad thing. People wanted the Soviets out. They fought them. It was tooth and nails. In Central Asia, it was a different thing. People had jobs. Women worked. Kids went to school. You had a place to stay. You had food. It was different. And I was so struck by that different mentality that I started looking into it, my usual research, my usual year of research for every book. And I just found it so interesting that I wrote about it. And I mention a lot about Lithuania in here, even though most of the setting is in Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan.
I wrote it down if I could say them as well as she can. Kiev, Ukraine.
Kiev, Ukraine, yeah.
And
Kiev.
Uzbekistan. Now, your family was from what part? Lithuania itself, or?
Lithuania. They were from, my mother's side was from the Kaunas area. It's roughly the central part of the country. It's a tiny country, the size of West Virginia.
Right.
So there's not a lot of territory to cover. But I am not sure where my father's parents were from. But they were also from Lithuania.
Yeah.
From way back.
So you've got it on both sides, basically.
Yeah.
Can you speak the language?
Biscay, a very, very little bit of Lithuanian. My grandparents, of course, spoke, and we lived in the same house. We lived in the farmhouse with my grandparents, and they spoke Lithuanian all the time. But when my grandmother died, Anna Paul was her name, when Anna Paul died, the traditions kind of faded. My mother was a Lithuanian foodie, so I know all the recipes, but we didn't speak that much. So I can understand. I remember the words as a child. I remember what they mean, but my mouth, I just can't really speak very well.
Right. Now, you started this series, the Amber War series. You started, well, this is 5, and I've known you at least for 5 years because you've been for every book, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
So that was probably, was it 2016?
Something like that, yeah. Time flies.
2016, okay. Because you are, actually, this is historical fiction.
Yeah. I take pride in the research I do for these books. I mean, of course, this is just my little tainted opinion, but I think reading textbooks, reading history books, reading newspapers, reading missives and so forth, it's not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing that, and I enjoy bringing forth the history through people who live it.
Right,
That's
right.
my thing, my corner of historical fiction. So that's what I try to do. I try to put you in the time, and you with the other characters are met with all of these opposing ideas and opposing politics, opposing cultures, opposing everything. And hopefully at the end, you, the reader, come away with some understanding of what it might have been like.
As soon as she said, when I first got this in the mail, an explosion and a jetliner crash.
Hey.
Is that true? Was that based on reality?
Okay, no, that is fictional. However, 2014, Putin, right after the annexation of Crimea, this is nothing to do with the books. This is what happened in the world in 2014. Putin annexed Crimea and took it over from Russia. Was part of Ukraine, took it over from Russia, for Russia. And then sometime around there was a jetliner crash. Malaysian Flight 17 was shot down by a missile over Ukrainian airspace.
Yeah.
And 5 years of investigation led to the fact that the missile was actually built in a factory outside of Moscow. And the guys who shot it were Russian, and they're actually either in jail or they're in court right now. But that inspired the story about Central Asia.
Yeah.
And so I got to thinking, so the Soviet breakup, so many countries left. Central Asia, I mean, there are uranium mines, coal mines, gas reserves, oil reserves. It's rich with mineral and energy. And with the breakup of the Soviet Union, suddenly all of that is gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's part of these freestanding republics. I can't but help that there's some kind of regret on the part of the Russian government that happened.
Yeah.
And China's coming in. I mean, China is pumping hundreds of billions of dollars, $100 billion into Central Asia for their new Silk Road initiative.
What's it called, the Silk Road?
It's a new Silk Road initiative.
Okay.
They're trying to build a rail and road system from China to Europe through Central Asia. And this is Russia's back door. And some of the practices are not necessarily what we would think are good. There's a little bit of land acquisition involved with the Chinese government and so forth. But I can't help but think that Russia is regretting that.
Yeah.
And China in their backyard, what might they do?
Yeah.
That question inspired Gypsy Amber. And I had such fun talking
We're
about all
talking with
these.
Ursula Wong, and she's back.
She's back.
And this is the Amber War series. This is book 5, Gypsy Amber. How can they get your book?
Amazon. It's
Amazon?
in Amazon. It's in Kindle.
Yeah.
And it's in print. And it's also on Barnes & Noble online.
Okay.
Kobo, the iBookstore. Anywhere you would normally look for
And if
an
somebody
ebook.
would like to have you come to a presentation, when, how would they get a hold of you personally? Do you want to give your email?
My website.
Your website.
ursulawong.wordpress.com.
Yeah.
There's a contact me tab,
Okay.
and that's the best way to get hold of me. And I
This
would
is
love to
fantastic
hear
that
from
you did that with the contact, because so many times I'm doing research for my authors, places for them to go, and I'll find it. And then I'll say, okay, where's the contact button? Because I have to give them all the information. Damn. So then I think, okay, next step. Who is the owner of the shop? Who is the head monkey monk? So I type that in. Pretty soon, you got to have patience. If you're lucky, you get down to the person in their personal email. I think more people should have that contact button.
Yeah.
Not
It's
just the
certainly
phone,
worth it.
their email.
Yeah.
Definitely. Were you into history when you were a kid in school?
Kind of, but not like I am now. I'm a history addict at this point.
Ursula, what did you do as a job before you began writing?
Computer technology.
Computer tech.
Yeah.
You're one of those
Oh,
lucky,
one of those.
brainy.
Hey, it was a great industry. It made a great life for a lot of people back in the day.
Yeah.
And it still does.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to continue on that?
There are advances made every day. Yeah.
Yeah, you just get used to one thing on the computer. Next thing you know, they've changed it. Like I'm on Verizon, and for months I get used to how I click this to get my email. Next thing I know, we're looking at it like, oh, they must have moved it over here or moved it over there.
It keeps you young, doesn't it?
No! It makes me mad. I'm like, leave it alone. It's a good thing. Don't mess with it. And there's got to be people who can't figure it out.
Well, there is that. I mean, there's so many things that are complicated these days. My daughter, Steph, moved to D.C. A couple of years ago, and just getting a license and changing her address, I mean, it was a major job.
In Washington, D.C.
Yeah, and so I mean, she wants to go into government and politics and so forth, and I told her, if you have such an issue and you're smart and you have resources, imagine what a person who isn't as lucky as you goes through. And it's life is
So she
complicated.
wants to go into the political aspect.
She does, I know.
Is she a millennial, or is she older than that?
She's 25, so she's a
Oh yeah, she's 3 years younger than my son.
Yeah.
And she's already wants to go to Washington. Did she go to college and major in poli-sci?
Yeah, government, political
Good for
science,
her.
that whole 9 yards. Yeah,
I think that's great.
it's to a degree, it's a thankless job, but I kind of admire her for wanting to do this. I mean, a life of service is
Yeah.
something to note.
Definitely.
I admire all people who do that.
And the stuff that just happened in Washington, I hope she takes great care. Does she know where she'll be stationed?
She did a few years in D.C.
Yeah.
She's actually on the West Coast right now
Okay.
in California. She's going to USC,
Yeah.
and she's getting a master's degree in urban planning.
Urban planning?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be handy.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And she's focusing on emergency planning.
Yeah.
Emergency plans that cities need to do
Yeah.
for obvious
Definitely.
reasons.
God
But-
forbid we should have to go through another pandemic. We need people like her. She probably would join forces with the medical planning people, maybe?
Absolutely. Medical, political, all sorts of regional offices. But she's the person to have on your show. I just
Yeah.
have a
Oh,
casual
definitely.
understanding.
But so she's now down in Washington.
She left Washington. She's on the West Coast right now.
When will she be home?
next year. If there's a stint, if she's
Yeah.
home for a week, I'll have her give you a call.
Definitely.
If
Have
you
her
a
email, have her
spot.
tell her she's home. She's your only, right?
She's my own.
Yeah, I got
You'll
one.
love her. She's very, very personable.
Well,
Yeah.
if you're her mom, of course
Well.
she's going to be great. All right, the $1,000 question. I can't imagine there isn't another one on the boiler right now.
There is.
I know you. She got one almost every year.
Number 6 is going to be Gypsy Spy.
Gypsy
No,
Pie?
excuse me. Amber Spy. I'm getting my
Amber
books
Spy.
mixed up.
Okay.
Amber Spy.
Yeah.
Amber Spy. And what I want to do, I'm still struggling with the storyline and so forth. I'm heavily into research right now.
Right.
But Russia is currently having a problem with their intelligence services.
Oh, yeah.
So hackers, Russian hackers are very, very good.
Yeah.
However, you need boots on the ground, right?
Yeah.
And it turns out that some of the intelligence services, the spies, and Russian spies in the United States, are enjoying the lifestyle so much that they're just not as religiously. Well, religiously is the wrong word, but that they're not as devoted to the motherland
Right.
as previous generations.
Right, Mother Russia.
Yeah, so there's an issue.
Yeah.
And so Russia's trying to grapple with this. They're actually trying to, I've heard, I mean, I read a lot, I've heard that there's some issue with tourists
Yeah.
being targeted by the Russian government as potential, either messengers or finding information or this kind of stuff. So that's going on. It caught my interest. Another thing that caught my interest is the OSS
Yeah.
and how that, kind of evolved during World War II. All of the spying that went on in Lithuania during
Yeah,
World War II. I
right.
mean, there's a museum in Kaunas
Yeah.
devoted to the surveillance that Soviet did in this tiny country during the occupation.
Ursula,
This
have
is
you and your
some
husband
stuff.
been to Lithuania?
Oh yeah, we got to
You
go
have been.
back to as
You
soon
have
as we can
relatives still
travel.
there?
We do have relatives. I have lost contact with them. They should be there. I just don't know how to reach them.
Tryancestry.com.
Maybe,
Right.
maybe,
I'm a little
yeah.
hesitant too about the swab because my husband is worried that someone will get the information on us and use it against us.
Yeah.
But who the heck is going to care about my swab? You know what I mean? I would love to know. Now you're 100% Lithuanian. Right?
100%,
100%. My father's side is Scottish, big time, and Welsh.
Oh.
Mom is French and German.
Mm.
So I'm a mutt.
You're a mutt.
A mutt. My husband says I look like I'm a throwback to the Vikings. He thinks I look like a Viking.
Well, you do. A little bit. A little bit that noble chin. And,
Oh.
you
All right, so Gypsy Amber, she's going to have a book when our library opens again. There will be a copy of Gypsy Amber by Ursula Wong downstairs in the dedicated local authors wall. And the next one is going to be called Amber Spy.
Amber Spy.
How far are you along in that one?
Not as far along as I should be, but don't tell my publisher.
Oh, yeah. Well, that might be out by what, summer? Fall?
Oh God, I'm hoping for November, December.
Well, you got to let me know.
I will.
See,
I will.
oh,
Of course,
yeah.
I will. You'll be the first on my list.
Where do you research? Do you go to libraries?
Yeah, libraries online. With the Massachusetts library system is fabulous. If I can't find a reference in my local system, which is 6, 7, 8 libraries,
Yeah.
they vector out to the Massachusetts system,
Yeah.
so I can actually get books from Harvard. So
Can I, right here at Lupton Library, they'll order it.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that is a phenomenal
It is.
research. And friends, there are a lot of Lithuanians around, and friends send me articles, and I get emails with links about certain topics and so forth. So I get a lot of mail. I get a lot of little tidbits of information. I get some family stories, and of course, I have all of these papers from my uncle.
Yeah.
That these old manuscripts, letters that he wrote, and that's a treasure trove of stuff. And I just cull through it to find these ideas.
I think Worcester has, it's a wonderful hodgepodge in Worcester. It's got I think there's a Lithuanian society or group in Worcester, which is right up the street.
Yeah, Moronis Park. Yeah.
Where is it?
Moronis Park
Okay, Moronis.
in Shrewsbury. Yeah.
Oh, it's where they have a lot of dances, that big hall?
Yes.
That's a Lithuanian?
Yes. Yep.
I never
Yeah,
knew that.
a lot of Lithuanian events there. I don't know whether it's owned by a Lithuanian organization, but yeah, Yeah, an awful lot of Lithuanian.
It's off.
there.
You go over. Yeah, it's before you go over the bridge to UMass. Isn't it where White City used to be?
It's in Shrewsbury, in the general area of White City. I get lost finding my way out of a paper bag, so I am not the right person to speak to tell you directions.
No, if I haven't got it, I will pull over. I don't care. I'll ask the gas station attendant. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
My father used to. When I learned it from him, he would give not only highly detailed, but he'll draw and he'll say what you saw there, and that's how a lot of guests that come to the show from far away, they're like, geez, you gave me every detail right through. I said, yeah, we don't want to lose you.
Well, yeah, there's technology too.
Exactly. Ursula Wong, how again can they get your book?
Amazon, any online, Kobo, the iBookstore, all sorts of online sources, and of course Amazon for print, if anyone wants a paperback. Yeah.
Where have you, I know right now with the pandemic, hopefully we're coming to the end of this. A lot of my authors they're not on hold. I say call your contacts, email them, line them up, and say when you reopen or when this is, when can I get scheduled, and keep at, and then you'll get right in to do your presentation. Maybe
Right.
bookstore or whatever might be closed. Have you been able to appear anywhere?
Oh yeah, this month was jam-packed. I did 2 courses for the Seven Bridge Writers Collaborative in Lancaster. I did the Business of Writing Day with my friend Dale Phillips. I'm speaking tonight. I'm running home and getting on Zoom. I'm speaking at the Groton Community Center, virtually, of course.
Groton, Connecticut?
Groton, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the talk is about Central Asian history. So
Well, your husband would know, right? I mean, is he a history buff too? He's Chinese, right?
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
would know some. He must.
Yeah.
How did you two meet?
Oh, it's a long story. We were both in computer tech.
Yeah.
And we went to a conference in San Diego, which is where we met. Turns out, back in Massachusetts, we worked for the same company, in the same building,
Yeah.
1 floor above each other.
Did you meet in the cafeteria?
No.
No,
No, our actual offices
Oh.
were right, 1 floor apart in the same building.
He must
so.
be so proud of you with your books and all.
Well, I hope so. It takes a lot of, it takes an awful lot. It
You
takes
must
a lot
have
of
to.
time.
Well, can you get into the libraries right now to do anything? Some aren't open.
Chelmsford is open, so
They
yeah,
are.
I can get in there. It's you scan your card right away, so they know you're in there for contact tracing,
Yeah.
and then you can browse a little bit, but they ask that you move it along. So, but I always go with the list of books I need, and I always come out with it. They're a truly great resource.
I know. Have you ever heard of the Antiquarian Society in Worcester?
Yeah.
Have you been over
Yeah.
there?
No.
That's for somebody who's researching and history. I've got to get there. I've got to get over there and research the Jocelyn and the Lewises, because my great-great-grandfather Benjamin Jocelyn was the inventor of the Jocelyn rifle during the Civil
Interesting.
War.
Oh.
And I think he worked with Asa. They were in tandem with Asa Waters in Millbury.
Uh-huh.
And I would bet you that the Antiquarian Societies, I haven't even seen a picture of this gentleman. I don't even know what he looks like. Our family albums go back just to my great-grandmother, who was his daughter-in-law. After that, it's
Wow.
like no one was there.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah, I can't wait. I would like to at least see a picture of this man.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Good luck.
it's mystery. But
Good luck.
you have so many of your relatives still over in Lithuania, and it would be great if you could connect with them.
I know. We, my mother used to write to them. They were up back during the occupation, and we used to send boxes of clothing to
Yeah.
them. And then they just said, don't do it anymore because they don't get the stuff. So, we kept writing, and then it just kind of petered out. And
It was your mother.
It was my mother, and it's been. I remember as a child, getting one of these letters, but it's just petered out. So I really.
So you lost touch with your own mother?
No, with her relatives.
Oh, her
With
relative. Okay.
relatives,
Okay.
yeah.
Is your mom still with us over here?
No, she's gone. She's gone.
How about Dad?
No,
They're
he's-
both. Yeah. So, is there any older living relative who has a good connection left?
Well, there's Aunt Val in Florida. She's quite a redhead, And she is the family historian.
Yeah.
So we're going down as soon as we can,
Yeah.
as soon as we've had our shots and are safe, and really kind of see if we can level set and get some more information and, try to figure some of this out. But I'm with you. It's great to know your family.
Yeah, it is.
to
You're
know the
lucky.
back.
You're lucky. She's your aunt. She must be a healthy 80s or 90s, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, she's
I tell everybody, I said, my grandfather used to read, I grew up with Sunday newspapers, Meet the Press and everything on TV, a lot of politics and what's going on. And Grandpa Lewis used to say, he would read the obituaries, and if he wasn't there, he could go on another day. But if you look at them now, it's highly common. People in their 90s, up to 100 and something, it's not like the 70s, no way. What is it, because of our good medical care now? I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's part of it. Just better living, understanding, better, doctor's appointments and so forth. And
Maybe better care. I mean, I don't know. Now, what made you come up with her name? We've got about 4 minutes left. Amber, in all this series, where did you come up with that name?
Amber, I'm not wearing any amber today. I thought I'd be different.
Yeah, that's okay.
But amber is, it's petrified pine resin, and it's treated as semi-precious jewelry.
Yeah.
It's used in jewelry, and amber is to Lithuania or the Baltic countries what jade is to China.
Yeah.
So amber is, it's a significant decorative item. Lithuanian women, when they go out, they always wear amber. And so I thought it was an appropriate word to unite the series.
Is it a birthstone also?
I don't think so.
I don't
not
either.
that I'm aware of.
Is it red?
It can be. Generally, it's a golden, a honey color, but there's so many variations now. If you have a bug or a leaf or something in the amber, it's pine, right? Pine resin. So if something got stuck in there, and viewing that is all the better. We went to the to a museum. Where were we? Zurich. We went to the Natural History Museum in Zurich, and they have an amber display, and there is this ring with a bug perfectly preserved in it.
With a
It's
bug?
Gorgeous, a bug preserved in the amber, in the stone, in the petrified stone. It's just amazing. It's amazing.
This lady has all kinds of surprises.
Oh, yeah. I know
She's coming
bugs, I
back.
know
You
rocks.
better believe she'll be coming back. Again, Gypsy Amber, 5th in the series of the Amber War series. And there'll be a copy downstairs up to the library. But you can also connect with her. And if you also want her to come and do a presentation, get a hold of her on her website, Ursula Wong, and we're waiting for that next one. Now, I got to wait till November.
Yeah,
Oh, come
November,
on.
December. Oh, my goodness. Crack the whip.
And she's told you have a wonderful daughter who is now was going to be in Washington, D.C. Definitely, let's have her on. Has she written a book or anything?
No, not yet.
But she can tell us her experiences.
Yeah, she's got a few up her sleeve, yeah.
Good
Few
for her. She's only
stories.
25.
She's
My
only
kid's
25.
28.
Yeah,
It's a whole different generation.
I know.
Let me tell you.
I know.
I showed him, I had borrowed from a library, he was about 16, and I borrowed Woodstock, the movie, the real deal, thinking, he's going to slam me, he's going to make fun of this. He was fascinated.
Yeah.
I said, well, hold it. I said, we didn't all do drugs, okay? I said, the music was cool. Our music was happier. They got that hip-hop, violent, you name it. He's listened to it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. No, we were a happier group. Much happier.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Ursula.
So good seeing you.
It's good to see you, too. It's good to be seen. In this day and age, we don't know. But, as I said, one show a day, 1 or 2 days a week, temporarily. That's why you're not seeing as many interviews. Thank you, Ursula, and I expect you back here in November.
Yes, ma'am.
Take care.
Bye.
Than it seems. Moving through the cloudless sky, heading out toward the moon. I am dancing to the lunar tune. Life goes by so quickly, time just slips away.